Over the last 25 years, changes to the investment landscape and the demand for options regarding trust administration and investment of trust assets have led to an evolution in trust law. Northern Trust's Laura Mandel and Dave Diamond explore the resulting flexibility in trust design, now available in some states.
Dave, could you share some of the flexible trust options available today?
I'd be happy to, Laura. The innovations we're seeing in trust law include things like the option to create long-term trusts with the potential for no state income tax. You can direct trustees on investments or distributions. You can limit or delay information that's provided to beneficiaries about their interest in a trust. And you could also establish a trust in which you can name yourself as a beneficiary.
Let's talk about the advantages of establishing a long-term trust.
Well, if you have a significant amount of wealth, you might want to pass that wealth down to your children, your grandchildren, and successive generations. So for example, in Delaware, a trust can last in perpetuity or forever. And in Nevada, a trust can last for 365 years. Now, you could think of this as a family savings vehicle that's really passing down your wealth from generation to generation.
And setting up a long-term trust offers tax advantages, right?
Well, there certainly can be. So if it's structured correctly, a long-term trust allows you to contribute assets that will continue for generations without the imposition of gift tax, estate tax, really any transfer tax. Now, right now, the highest marginal estate tax rate is 40%. So a savings of 40% tax for each transfer to the next generation, that could be pretty significant.
You also mentioned that a trustee can be directed on certain matters. Can you explain that further?
Well, it means that these new provisions allow you to act as your own investment advisor, and you can retain control over investment decisions, let's say for some of the assets or all the assets held in the trust. Or you could name a third party to act as the investment advisor. Now, you can also name a third party to direct distributions from your trust. Now, however, you can't direct the distributions yourself.
One of the options you mentioned was limiting or delaying information to beneficiaries about their interest in trusts. Why would you want to do that?
Well, this might be useful if you don't want your children to know about a trust until they reach a certain age or achieve a certain benchmark, like, for example, graduating from college. Now, some states permit what have become known as quiet trusts, or what we refer to as confidential trusts. And this is where the trustee is not required to provide notice, including statements, to a beneficiary for a certain period of time. Now, the caveat here is that the period of non-disclosure cannot be perpetual. There has to be some point when notice is provided to the beneficiary.
The last option you mentioned was setting up a trust and naming yourself as a beneficiary. Tell me more about that.
Certainly. Beginning in 1997, some states introduced statutes allowing you to set up a trust and name yourself as a beneficiary. Now, as long as certain rules are followed, your future creditors cannot reach the assets in the trust to satisfy claims against you. Now, these trusts cannot be used to hide assets or to fraudulently convey assets if a claim is already existing. But in the appropriate circumstance, they present a really good way to set aside assets and protect them from future unknown claims.
And for someone who has set up a trust in a different state, it's not too late to take advantage of these flexible trust laws, right?
Not necessarily. In fact, in many instances, a trust can be moved to Delaware or Nevada and modified to take advantage of some of these flexible provisions.
Thanks so much, Dave, for your insights on these strategies. It's been great.
It's my pleasure, Laura.